American songwriter, we had the opportunity to talk to Joe of the band DED.
Adam was able to talk to Joe over Zoom audio. Joe told us about getting a phone call from John Feldmann, going out to LA, and having him produce the first DED album, which was a full circle moment for Joe because his first concert was a Goldfinger show. Check out DED's new single, Parasite.
Make sure to check out our YouTube channel and Facebook page at Bringing It Backwards and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Bringing Back Pod.
We'd appreciate your support if you follow and subscribe to our podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts.
We're Bringing It Backwards with DED.
Hello?
Hey, Joe, how's it going?
Going good. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for doing this.
Of course. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. So our podcast is all about your journey in music and how you got to where you are now.
Oh, wow. That's a long podcast.
Well, we can speed it up a bit.
No, it's all good. I'm just thinking of what a long journey that is. But yes.
I did. The band started in Arizona?
Yeah, Arizona.
Are you born and raised there?
I am. That's
Okay.
right. That's correct. Yeah, man.
In
Have you been?
Phoenix?
Yeah, right around Phoenix, like Tempe,
Okay.
Tempe mostly. Yeah.
Right on. Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna. Sorry, I cut you off. You're gonna say something. I can't.
I was gonna say, have you been?
Oh
there?
yeah. We're in San Diego, so I've been out to Arizona quite a few times.
Cool, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are pretty close.
Yeah, not too far. Cool. So, how did you get into music?
Well, a lot of different ways, I guess. I guess I look at it like in a couple different ways that I got into it. I guess I get into it because my parents listened to it a lot. It was just around a lot, and that kind of thing. And I always my dad would give me tapes and CDs and stuff, and things like that. And he'd try to show me Pink Floyd and Billy Joel and stuff like that. And my mom would, so you get into music like that, and then eventually you find your own music. And I guess I found a lot of that on the radio or on MTV, just having all that time as a kid in summers and things like that. You just hang out and listen to music, make mixtapes and stuff like that, whatever. And I don't know, I guess that's how I got into it. I've always been drawn to it. I loved it. I loved movies and I loved music, and I still do. And I'm just kind of obsessed with it, really. I just love it. I guess that's how I got into it, as far as enjoying it and loving it, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. What about an instrument? What was the first instrument you learned to play?
First instrument was guitar. I got a guitar. It was called a Terminator, and it was terrible. And it had a built-in speaker, on the body and whatnot. And I got it, and I definitely was just trying to be I love Nirvana and Korn and stuff like that. I just wanted to be them, I guess, at the time. And yeah, man, that's kind of how it happened. Then watching them as well, those two bands, I thought they were the coolest people too, and I wanted to just hang out and be friends and do be like they were and stuff. I think those were the two most important bands, I guess, for me to really want to start a band. I think was that
Korn and Nirvana.
Yeah. Yeah,
Cool.
pretty much when I think back on it. Yeah,
That's awesome.
and that's changed time, but yeah, that was I think that was the push for me. I was pretty young still, and just way into it. So
yeah, I did see on your guys' Instagram you played the Chicago Open Air with Korn. They played that festival you guys played.
we did. Yeah, we toured with them twice actually as well.
Oh, really? How was that?
So
That
we've
must
done
have been
festivals, and we've got
pretty full circle moment for you. I imagine, right? Being able to play with the band that you you grew up kind of got you into music or got you playing guitar.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're a lot of those over the years, and yeah, and that was definitely one of me. And we did a summer tour with them a couple of years ago, and then we did another run with them, and then all the festivals. And it's cool. It's very cool. And to kind of, I guess the coolest part of it is to kind of get the blessing of somebody or the validation from somebody that inspired you. I think it is I don't know. That's one of the coolest things there is, you know, and as far as, you know, knowing that you're not kidding yourself and, you know, you're doing something that's kind of cool, you know?
Sure. Yeah. To have
as
like
an artist.
one of your idols, kind of co-sign what you're doing. That's awesome.
Right. You know, because like as an artist, you go through different variables that I know, you know, right? I'm sure, like, you know, like self-doubt and things like that. You're like, am I any good? You know, is this,
right.
you know, that kind of stuff. And then, you know, someone, you know, you go through times where you're like, oh, I'm awesome. I wrote something awesome today. And the next day you're like, I can't write anything. I'm terrible. You know, so it's a funny thing. You know?
You're right.
Yeah.
So you said you the guitar was the first instrument you learned. Your you know, Nirvana, Korn were the things. Like what was did you start a band early on? Like what was the first thing that you did after you learned how to play guitar?
Yeah. So, you know, I went and had some guitar lessons and stuff. And, you know, I definitely, even till now, I never really became, I'm not like the shredder person. I'm not the virtuoso guy. And I've never really been drawn to that though. You know, speaking of like Korn and Nirvana, it's definitely more, you know, not the most intricate of things, but it's just really, you know, it's more about the songwriting and the presentation. And I think that is more so what I was drawn to. And, you know, it's more simplistic, I think. And it's more just like about the feeling. And it's not really about, you know, like I was saying, the intricacy, I guess. And so, yeah, so I learned guitar, but again, like I said, watching those bands, I just thought they were the coolest, you know? So I was like, I want to hang out with friends and have that vibe too, you know? And I've still to this day, I love that camaraderie of sharing, you know, with people that I respect, that I think are dope, you know, that I think bring something cool to a group, just like I do, you know? And, yeah, all that together, it just seemed really cool. And it seemed like I wanted to be a part of a culture, and I wanted to be, you know, be a part of that culture and represent, you know, in whatever way that is, you know? So, yeah.
What was like the first band you joined? Were you in high school?
Yeah, no, I was middle school. I was probably 15. We started,
wow.
Yeah, we started, it was like three dudes. I've gone through a lot of, you know, little variations, but yeah, me and like three dudes. And then the actual first band that we like recorded an EP was called Goin' Postal. And it was like,
that's a cool name.
yeah. And it was like, we're at that time really way into like punk, like, you know, MXPX and
sure.
Good Riddance and NoFX and all that stuff at that time, Rancid and stuff. So yeah, it was kind of in that realm of things. And yeah, it was awesome. It was just super fun. It was just, we play, you know, backyard parties and bowling alleys and all that, you know, super DIY type shit. And it was killer. Yeah, it was a good time.
That's awesome. And how about starting DED? Like, how did that all happen?
So then many years later, after I was 14 or 15, yeah, you know, DED is like, being in a lot of different bands and things. And, you know, it's the drummer that I've been with for a very long time. We've been in a couple different bands before DED. And then a couple of the guys were in a band called Greeley Estates. And we just kind of got together and really just did it for fun in the beginning. And you know, just wanted to just kind of be heavy. We'd kind of been through the ringer with other bands with, you know, as far as the music industry goes and, you know, just everything. It was just like, you know, man, we just want to do this for fun again almost. And then we did DED and then kind of got the biggest reaction we've ever gotten from anything, you know, we ever did. So it's really, really cool that was the way that it happened, was just out of like wanting to have fun with music. It was gratifying in that sense, you know? So
you guys, you had other projects, and then DED was finally the thing.
Yeah.
That you guys wanted to do, and it kind of landed.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And from there, did you like? What was you guys get together? You start playing? Were you just doing local shows around Arizona? Like, how did the build up like gradually happen with you know, the band and getting fans and putting out the record you put out?
Yeah, all that. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just like any other band, I guess. We wrote some songs, we made videos, and like I said, we were just having fun with it, and then sent it to some people. And like, we'd been in other bands before, so we kind of knew a lot of people, and so we would just get on shows. We did a small run with like Insane Clown Posse really early on.
Wow, how'd you get that?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That was, yeah, no, I mean, that was through, man, because John Feldmann from Goldfinger found us. Kind of, and that's another one that's really cool. That was my first concert ever, was going to see Goldfinger play on a festival. And then John, again, the singer of that band, later found DED. So that was another serendipitous thing that you were talking.
Yeah, I want to hear about that. That's crazy because he's a master producer now. I mean, or was always.
Yeah.
But now it's like he's got these credits for
absolutely.
like 5 Seconds of Summer and Blink, and yeah, he's doing everything.
A million of things, and so he was the one that found us. He got our demo, and then called us, and we went out, and that was a pretty wild time, like going out to LA and playing for him, doing showcases for him, and then him getting on board with us and being like, let's do an album, and then we showcased for labels with John and all that kind of stuff. So it was the whole cool, like, and then we had once we were out there, when we were out there with John too, he got us connected with Benji and Joel Madden from Good Charlotte.
Yeah,
they were our managers for a couple of years early on. Yeah, and so there's this whole crazy wild thing, man. Like I was saying, it's just super wild. Like everything just kind of kept flowing, and then eventually, we got with Jordan Schur from Sure-Tone and signed with him, and he became our manager, and everything like that. And it's just like, keeps going. And Jordan, he was managed Limp Bizkit and Stained and a bunch of people back in the day and all kinds of things. So it's just, you just get with all these amazing people, and we're just so grateful that everybody like saw whatever they saw in us to want to work with us, and really help to propel us and push things to where we are, now. So it's been, there's just a million stories for it. It's all crazy. It's like, you can't even believe it. Like the whole time we're like, wow, this is pretty wild. This is cool. So, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Did John Feldmann produce your first record?
He did. Yeah. He did the first album with us.
Wow. That's amazing. Tell me about getting that phone call from him. That must have been crazy in itself. Like, hey, it's John Feldmann. I want to work on your record.
Well, at first, it was just like, hey, come out here and let's see if we vibe, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went out with our gear and whatnot, and we brought a bunch of demos with us, and hung out. Like, I think we had vegan tacos, like when we got there, and they were making vegan tacos, and we sat down and ate, and we just kind of hung out, and he's like, and we were super nervous, kind of like, we're like, he's someone I looked up to for a very long time, and someone we respect, but he was just so cool too. So we're just like kicking it, and then just go in the room. He's like, let's go listen to some of your songs. So we do that, and then he's like, cool, let's write a song. And we're like, damn, like, right in that same day, it's like, let's write a song. And we're like, all right, cool. So I think that's kind of like, his way of just seeing if you vibe, seeing if you can kind of, do your thing and see if you can handle your business on the spot. And so, like, I think that was cool. Like, I loved it. I haven't even thought about it in such a long time. So it's really cool to think about it while I'm talking to you about it right now and trying to recollect. And then after we did a couple songs, some demos, he was like, cool. What do you guys think? Let's do an album. And we're like, damn, it's sick, So we did an album, and, and that was in between, he was doing the Blink album, the last one. And then, the first one with Skiba on it, and then,
the California record.
Yeah, exactly. He was doing that one at the time, which was awesome too, because Travis Barker was there. He had his kit set up, so we actually used Travis Barker's drum kit for our album, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That must have been pretty dope for your drummer to be able to play on that kit.
Yeah, he was amped. Of course. I had to sit down and play on it too, for sure. Like, just like, I ripped
pictures on it.
Yeah, exactly. I ripped on Travis's kit, even though I suck. I was playing like AC/DC, super easy stuff, but it was, and he was there kicking all the time. And Mark Hoppus had us on his podcast. He was the first one to ever play a DED song for anybody ever. So that's really cool.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that's really cool. I haven't even thought about all this stuff in a long time. It's really cool. Yeah, absolutely. So we did the album out there, and just kind of like did it back and forth, like bounced back and forth from Arizona to LA a bunch that year. And then we were kind of getting involved with signing the record deal, and just kind of, just a really wild, fun, creative time for like about a year straight. It was really cool, man. Really awesome. Yeah.
Were any of the songs that you had initially wrote with John Feldmann before he, signed on to record the record, did any of those make the album?
They did, yeah. The first, I'm trying to think exactly, but the first one we wrote with him was called "Dead to Me," which is on the album. and yeah, super cool, that one. And then one or two that we had written, like demos, we had done them with Matt Good from the band From First to Last. Moved out to Arizona, and he was also in Drugs, which did an album with John Feldmann as well. So he actually started the DED with us, and he was going to be the guitar player, and then he decided to just go and do producing. So we just ended up taking it and doing our own thing. But so yeah, that's how it first started out, was writing with him. And then so a couple of those songs that we wrote with Matt also made the album as well. And then we wrote a bunch more with John after we kind of greenlit each other, you know, in that way.
That's awesome. And then you guys put the record out, and then you said you've done like tours with, you know, Korn and ICP. And what was the first tour that you got to go on with the new record?
With the new record, the first, well,
or with the record, when the first record you put out? When
the first record came out, it was the Korn tour. It was summer. It was called Serenity of Summer. It was Korn, Stone Sour, Yellow Wolf, and
wow.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild first tour. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that's a huge tour.
Yeah.
So you guys are playing like stadiums, I would think, right?
Yeah, it was like, well, yeah, amphitheaters like all over, everywhere. Just big amphitheaters everywhere.
Had you ever played a stage that big before, or is that like a whole mind-blowing experience?
Well, you know, we've all been, like I said, we've all been in bands before. I don't know that I ever played. I think I played like one song at a Warped Tour in an amphitheater back in the day with, like with with my friends in Bless the Fall, like back in the day. But you know, we had in my older bands, we had toured with like Stained and Godsmack and done like little arena tours with them.
Wow.
Things. So we'd been around, and the other guys had played shows. But I mean, it still never gets old. You know, it's always awesome. You know, it's like, it's not, you know, it's still cool. Like, you know, no matter what. So, yeah. It was amazing. You know, it was amazing, and to walk around and have everybody be so welcoming. You know, and we had done like little, you know, a lot of local shows, little shows and things like that. But we had toured before, so again, it doesn't lose its luster. It's still exciting. But yeah, it's, you know, so, but we felt like we were like, you know, we can do this, and we'll be, you know, we're legit. We're cool. You know, we can handle our business here.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
Act like you've been here before. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It wasn't like you guys were thrown into this massive tour and you hadn't really done, and you didn't have any experience. It sounds like you guys are all kind of had been around the block a few times, and then obviously.
Yeah. But it still was awesome.
Yeah.
It was still amazing. No, it was. And then there I remember there was a day where Corey Taylor was standing on one side of the stage, and then Jonathan Davis was standing on the other side of the stage and watching us. And I just remember like, you know, peeking over and looking at him, but not making a deal out of it, and just thinking how cool that was to have two people, you know, Corey from Slipknot and stuff, and then John Warren, just like such huge influences, and, you know, people that, you know, they've just kind of lived in like the speakers, so they lived on the TV, and they never were really in your life, and then all of a sudden they were there kicking it, watching you, and like, you know, being cool and supporting you and stuff. Is dope. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Never forget that, you know.
That's amazing. Yeah, I know. Wow, how incredible. Yeah. Well, it's okay. So now you have a new song out. You have a new record coming out.
Right.
So okay. The last album you know came out 2017. Were you guys just touring? Because you haven't put anything out. Is this the first song you put out since the album?
Well, yeah. So we put out about 3 songs this year, and we did a new album. We did this one with Kevin Churko in Vegas, and we pretty much just toured for about 3 years straight. And then during the last year or so, we were recording the album. So we'd go out to Vegas for about a month or two. We'd record, then we go back on tour, and then we go back to the studio and back, you know, and so forth through the year pretty much. And then we finished it in December of last year, and then did a quick Europe tour with Wage War, and then came back, and then quarantine happened. And then we released like songs like right then. So we really tried to keep the momentum going from touring the whole time while we were writing, and then, you know, like super bummer, but you know, having that happen. But we've released about 3 new songs from the album, and then we got you know, some more coming as well. And we just gotta like figure out, you know, exactly how to release everything the right way. It's just, you know, such a crazy time.
Yeah, it's like it's just the Wild West now, huh? Everyone's kind of trying to figure out the best way to do this.
Yeah, it's like you don't know what to do, but you know, it's kind of cool in a way, you know, like releasing stuff like kind of individually. It gets digested by itself rather than a full album, And I don't know if I'm just telling myself that to make myself feel better or not, but you know, it's cool in a way, you know, there's something.
No, yeah, I agree
cool.
for sure.
Yeah. So, but I'm really excited to get the rest of the music out. But yeah, we just shot a music video for another track too. So we're just kind of like putting music out, like seems like every couple months we're going to release something new, and that seems how it's flowing. And that's kind of cool, you know, to space it out.
Give people stuff to look forward to every month or every few weeks or whatever. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So that's kind of happening.
You said you guys you finished the record in December, and then you went to Europe to tour before coming back. So you guys had made it home right before lockdown. Did you notice anything like weird happening? Like I've talked to other artists that were like, you know, touring like as it was kind of everything was shutting down. Like, did you guys experience any of that at all?
Well, yeah, like not really. We didn't get shut down, but we definitely noticed like an influx in masks, even though like you kind of see that a little bit more when you're traveling, I feel like. But we had gotten back and we came straight back. We flew to New Orleans because we were doing a cruise actually. So we went from Europe to a cruise, and we did a cruise called Shiprocked, which went to Mexico. So we all went we were on a cruise ship, right? Like 2 or 3 days before like they started locking down the cruise ships and shit. You know what I mean? So we did that cruise, right? I think it was, maybe it's like 4 or 5 days, but still it's pretty close. And so we were doing that cruise, and then we all, you know, got back to the States, and then like we got back, and then it was like everybody's sick, the cruise ships are locked down, all this stuff. It seemed like it was like right after we got back, and we didn't really notice much. I remember us hearing about it a little bit, but it was kind of like, oh, you know, I don't know, you know, in the beginning, it's hard to like think how you were thinking before it all happened,
right?
You know, you're kind of like, oh, this doesn't really happen here, or this doesn't really happen. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah. It was almost like you just couldn't believe it. It was like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah. And it was kind of like, it's not a big deal, you know, whatever. Like it's cool. And then it wasn't, and then all of a sudden it wasn't cool, you know?
Right.
And so it's just wild, man. Yeah. So, but, you know, yeah, I feel like we probably got back within like a week or two of time of like getting back. So yeah, we definitely were pretty close, and lucky for sure.
Wow. And then you get back and you have this record done, and then the world shuts down.
Yeah.
And how did that like, did you guys have to like shuffle up your, you know, layout or your plan for the record?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you know, that was being talked about. It wasn't in stone already, you know, but it was kind of being mapped out. And then, once that happened, it was like, okay, well, let's see how this all goes. And, you know, if this, then this, if this, then that. And, you know, and so we just been kind of cruising with it, you know, and there's, you know, people invested and time invested and all that kind of stuff. So you have to respect everybody's opinions and things, like, you know, on how to properly release it and stuff. And, you know, and we want to get as much out of it as we can, you know, like I talk about momentum, and when I talk about just, you know, it's our second album, and the first album cycle, you know, went really awesome. And we tried to tour so much, and we worked our asses off. And so we want to try to just, you know, continue that as much as we can until things normalize, or, you know, to some degree, you know what I mean? So it's just like every day trying to figure it out, you know, and you know, it's cool. Like you got to adapt. That's how you survive, you know? So it's like, what are you gonna do? Yeah.
Have you guys done like the live streaming events or anything like that to promote the new music?
We haven't done we're not all like together to do it, and I just don't know about that whole split screen thing. Like, it just doesn't vibe with me super well. I really want to, you know, like I it's cool in like a cute way, I think, but not in like a, you know, not in like an awesome way, you know. And so it's like I don't know if we're gonna get into that. I've definitely done like, you know, a pretty good handful of like just kind of like acoustic versions of the songs for radio stations, like, you know, like videos, or when I would like Twitch things with friends and things like that, like trying to do things like that. We just did like a Octane on satellite had a festival takeover thing where everybody's sending like live versions of songs, so we did that. So we're just doing like stuff like that. But I mean, you know, I mean, you know, I don't know, it's crazy, like just not doing super like video type, playing live type things. It's just, I don't know, it's just not the same to me. And I don't know if I'm being stubborn or not, you know, but it's just like, I just want to go play live. And until then, not to say we won't do it. Like, I don't want to say that, but it's just not I'm just not amped on it, on that idea. It works for some people. I think it works, for acoustic, and it works for certain bands, but just for us, I don't know. We'll have to see.
I feel like now too, it's just been so long. Like right when it first happened, everyone's like, we gotta play on live stream and this, and then like, nobody realized this isn't going to be like a 2-month thing. Now we're like 6-7 months out, and people are still having to live stream. I mean, I'm sure at what point do you just go, you know what? Let's just wait to play live.
Right. Like another, however many months it's going to be now. But, I mean, that's how I feel about it. Like I was like, oh man, like I was feeling that pressure to really dive into that. And there's obviously people are still doing it now, but I just, like I said, I don't know if I'm being stubborn or not, but it's just like, I just want to, I want to feel good. I want to feel confident. I want to feel strong and give people good, good material and good things, and
so don't just do it because everyone else is doing it type thing.
Correct. That's kind of where my head's at with it. Definitely.
That makes sense. And then you said you guys have done a couple of videos recently or that are coming out for the new songs?
We just shot a music video. So we did it super isolated, and did a music video for our next single that's going to be coming out. And I can't really give details on it yet, but
sure.
So, and then the other music video we had done before we went to Europe, or right after, one of the two. And then, right before quarantine happened. So that one was good. That one came out, and that worked really well. And then, the next music video come out, and I'm really stoked on it. I think it's gonna be really different. We really try to do something unique rather than just being like, 4 dudes looking super dark and heavy in a room.
Right.
We tried, which we've done. So we're guilty of that. So I can talk shit on it. But this time we try to do like, let's take this opportunity of, the current state of the world, and it's kind of pushing us out of our comfort zone. And so let's do something out of our comfort zone. And that's what we tried to do on this one. So, like I said, without sharing details, I guess that's the way of sharing details without sharing details.
Sure.
So I'm excited about it. Yeah, I think it's gonna be cool.
That's awesome. I dig it. Yeah. Very cool. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it very much, man. Good energy, good vibes about you.
Yeah, thank you. I have one more question. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Yeah. Man. First off, don't release an album when there's a pandemic about to happen. No. I get asked that question, and I feel like I answer it differently based on the day. But what I would always say to somebody is to be honest with yourself. Be honest with the art you make, and be honest with the way that you are, and find good people to surround yourself with, and educate yourself. And it's never one thing, right? Like it just can't be one thing, because music is, if you're going to be an aspiring artist, there's so many things. I would say educate yourself, surround yourself with good people, and be honest with yourself. I would say those things. And I think you'll be okay if you do those things.